Good morning, guys. Happy Monday. Lisa's still asleep. We finished up our UPW last night. Great to do it virtual since we're getting shut down. It worked out awesome. So I've seen a lot of speeches over the years of people who, have made amazing successes and come from nothing. But yesterday morning, in the studio that they have set up where they do the seminar from, Lisa Kern, the lady that started It Cosmetics, that ended up getting bought out by L'Oreal, and she's actually now the CEO of L'Oreal, came and told her story. And like I said, I've seen a lot of stories where people talk about how I started with nothing and then I did this, and each one is equally amazing. But I don't think I've ever seen one on the level of this story. And there's lots of them that are amazing. She started out It Cosmetics with nothing. She ended up selling it to L'Oreal for $1.2 billion. Her and her husband, when they started it, they had no money. She wrote a book, and I encourage you to go get the book, to go read it and hear exactly what her entire story is, because it's truly amazing. But the thing that I really got out of this was, she was so real and raw and open about her experience, and the massive amount of effort that she had to put into it, and the massive amount of rejection that she had to deal with. But at the end of the day, it's the same thing that we always come down to, and that is that there's nothing you can't do if you really decide. I mean, this lady had no experience, she had no training, she was working at a Denny's, and she decided to do this. And the reason she's speaking at the event is because she came to a UPW, and that was where she made the choice that she was going to start this cosmetic company. And it took 5 years, but she did it, and then it became amazingly successful, and of course then it sold for a huge pile of money. But as we go into this Monday morning, there's a lot going on in the world we've talked about all the time, but there is absolutely nothing that you can't do if you truly put your mind to it. And every time I go to one of these things, that just gets solidified more and more and more, because it's just more stories and more people who have just fought the odds, who have just fought everything in the world, and they end up figuring out a way. And they listen to their gut. Their gut tells them that this will work. Their gut tells them that this is a good idea, and they listen. That's really the bottom line, is they believe in themselves, and even though others don't, and sometimes others do, but most of the time there comes a point where the people around you say, this isn't going to work, this is a bad idea, you need to go back and be practical. And instead, they persevere. They come from a place of absolute belief and faith, and they move forward and continue to learn and continue to try new approaches, even though what they're doing isn't working, and then they ultimately succeed. This lady was, for me, the best speech by far that I'd ever seen along these lines, because she was so open to us about her experiences. I don't want to spoil the story for you, but not only was she rejected, but the way that she was rejected. I mean, we've talked about the stories of Colonel Sanders. We've talked about the stories of Walt Disney, obviously Thomas Edison. But the way that she was rejected was just so personal and harsh. And she still figured out how to move forward and end up being incredibly successful. As we start a new week, and it's a short week because it's Thanksgiving week, but my message to you is, anything you want to do, you can go do it. You can find a way. Don't end up at the end of your life and look back and go, I wish I woulda or I coulda done any of these things. Go do them. And if you want to start something new, now is the time. The strongest companies were started during depressions or recessions. Disney, Apple, Microsoft. That list goes on and on and on. Go get her book. Go get her book and read it. I haven't read it yet, I'll be honest, because I didn't know about her until yesterday. But go get her book and go read that story. Turn off Netflix for a couple of days and read the story about what this lady did. And then be inspired. Whatever it is that you want to do, you can go do it. Happy Monday. Thank you very much for watching, everybody. We're all in this together. Let's take care of each other.